Hello everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode here on 1950's Farm. How are you all doing today? Are you all good? I hope so. See if we can pick these up without putting them back into the trigger. it's not as easy for me to do as what you think. But yeah, we'll get these. Hang on, that's coming off. Let's try and get them on a bit better. There we go. Yeah, not as easy as what you would think, but this cow barn is out of straw, so don't go too close to that one, otherwise we'll lose him in there. Yeah, so as I say, it's out of straw, so we will fill this up, and then we must get on with our job of the day, which is making hay. So you remember in an episode, I think last week, I think it was, where I told you about a new ranch that had opened quite away from this farm, but they were essentially looking for a farm that was able to produce their hay and their straw, and you remember from harvesting the wheat field over in front of us there, so where this grass field is just there, basically yesterday where we were manure spreading that field there. As you can see, I've ploughed that now, so I've got that done, and I've also done Harry's field as well, so I've ploughed it, well, manured and ploughed that one as well. As I say, I'm not going to do like every single time I plough or whatever sort of on camera, just because otherwise, you know, people are going to get, in my opinion, you know, I'm sort of worried that people will get you know, sort of kind of fed up with you know, sort of seeing the same jobs over and over. But I mean, it's what it's what this farm's all about. It's what farming in the 50s and, you know, going into, you know, even as far as the 70s was all about, really. You know, plough was king. So you know, it's what I have to do, but I am conscious that I don't want to necessarily make every single video I have of you know, of that, because I obviously want people to watch. So yeah, you know, some fields I will do off camera, some jobs I will do off camera as well, but there we go, that's filled that, so the others can go in, which I think there should only be 2 more. Get off and close the gate. And as I say, today we are going to be doing some mowing today. Right, we'll put this in here because we don't need this. We do need this. I need to put those bales back away, otherwise I'll get wet. And then, as I say, we'll take this off and get the mower on, and then we can get started with our mowing. There we go. What I'm probably going to do, I think it should work. So this map has a little bit of an issue. Some of the fields from the person that converted this map, which I think originally was a 17 map, I think I'm right in saying, and then it was converted to 19, and then converted again to 22. I think I'm right in saying that. Or it was originally a 19 map and then converted to 22. That may be the way around it was, but this map has always had the same problems. So one of the problems, as we've seen many times before, is depending on the plough that you use, because the plough we're using at the moment doesn't seem to do it, but we used to get a lot of texture tearing. So that basically, what I mean by that is that we'll be ploughing sort of, you know, down in this direction here. The plough, let's just for argument's sake, would be the width of the tractor, but actually, because you get texture tearing, you know, the actual ground ploughed could be 3 or 4 meters either side of the tractor, so you end up with, say, like a 2 meter plough being a 6 meter plough, you know, and different things like that. The other big issue with this map is that the field areas are not, well, not all of the field areas are defined. So some of them are. So the big field that we did, where we harvested the wheat in and we manured and ploughed, that one does have defined field boundaries, but I've got a feeling the one that we're about to go into doesn't. So it could well be that we might not be able to use course play in here, which is a bit of a toe rag, because I would like to use course play, because I can have course play tedding while I get rode up, you know, and obviously that makes the job quicker, but it's fairly easy to sort out, and I might, if people are interested and don't know how to do it, which, you know, there may well be someone out there, you know, but it is a fairly sort of straightforward problem to you know, to sort out. So you know, if you are sort of kind of interested and want to know how you do it, then and it doesn't involve going into Giants Editor or anything like that, you can do it in the game. You can't stop the texture tearing in the game, but you can define the fields in the game. So let's say if anyone is interested in that, or I might just end up doing an episode where I sort of show you how to do it, and it's so easy, it's so quick. You know, it really doesn't take very long to do. So yeah, so if you are interested in that, then let me know. But the neighbour's oat field has ripened, and that's looking like that's ready for harvest. It is semi-tempting to buy that field, not because there's a crop in there ready to harvest, but because it kind of fits with sort of what we're doing here. But we have to be a little bit careful, because obviously I don't want to you know, make myself that much work that I genuinely sort of don't have enough time to do, because that field to my right, yes, we manure spread it virtually in the video yesterday, in the episode yesterday, but we at the same time, I you know, to plough it wasn't you know, sort of 40, well, I think in the end it took me about an hour to manure spread that field, because if you take into account the video, I think it was about 46 minutes long, so roughly about an hour to manure spread it, but it took the rest of the day and some to plough it. And as I say, once I did that field, I then went and did Harry's field, and so I've had I've had quite a late night, but I didn't mind, because as I said in yesterday's video, and again, not gonna go into, you know, I'm not gonna go on about it in this video, but because I had a sort of a bit of a heart episode the other day, and it's still not recovered and not right at the moment. I can't sleep, you know, so it was kind of like, right, you know, there's no better time to get on with ploughing that's going to take a long time than now, because I can't sleep anyway, so, you know, I might as well just sit and get on with it. So that's what I did, but so it means that you know, we're nicely sort of caught up and everything. But yeah, as I say, we're in a pretty good place at the moment on the farm. As I say, we're going to make some hay, and then the last cut of the year for this field will be silage. So we'll make hay as well for with the other field as well. So we've got two fields that you know, we need to be making hay in, and then once we've done that, as I say, the last cut of the year will be, at the very least, this field being silage, but may well be the other one as well, and then getting it into the clamp, and and again, we'll over winter we'll be able to feed our cows silage. It's not the way they did it in 1950, the way that we do it on the game, but unfortunately I am on that restricted to the game mechanics of doing it. So they, in 1950's, I've said before, they would have had pits that would have been so they would bank a lot of earth up, and then within that bank of earth they would then dig pits that obviously would go sort of below the bank, obviously, and then once all the grass that they'd silaged up was done and in the pit, then what they would do is they would then cover it, usually with straw, but anything really they could get their hands on, but mainly it was straw and earth as well. So straw and earth being the two main things that they would use to cover it, and then they would, after I think it was 3 months they used to leave it, and then they would take the earth or the straw off, and then feed their cattle what was underneath. Now, in the 1950's, a lot of it was going mouldy, a lot of it was being wasted, but they were compacting the way that these today we do. So it meant for many years silage was very hit and miss, depending on sort of kind of what was happening. But it was actually a French farmer in 1958, Francois Bourgeois. I hope I've pronounced that right. I've been practicing. Who discovered that actually if you compacted the silage before you covered it, then the silage had a much higher success rate. And it was also him, Francois Bourgeois, Bourgeois or whatever. I do apologise if I'm butchering that. But he also was the first person to make a concrete silage clamp slash pit. But that's where we get that's why silage clamps today are called silage pits, is because originally they were pits in the ground, and they were, as I say, covered with earth or straw. There are sort of kind of unconfirmed reports that farmers used pretty much anything they could cover it in. So manure was also used, stone was used, which I sort of kind of thought that's not good for the cows, but that is the reason why the silage pitchforks on the backs of tractors were invented for, so that you could scrape away the dung or the stone or the earth or whatever to get enough to be able to reverse into it, and then as you pick the silage up, all of the soil, stone and anything else that you'd use would fall through the silage fork and back onto the floor, and so therefore wouldn't get fed to the cows. But stones, the odd stone here and there in a cow's diet is not actually, as far as I understand it, and I may have got this wrong, and I certainly know someone that will correct me on it, and I very much look forward to it, but is cows use stones, as far as I'm aware, to help them to churn or to digest the grass, to grind and eat and digest the grass. So the odd stone in it here and there probably wasn't that bad, but you certainly wouldn't be feeding the cows stones. They'd be rock hard, wouldn't they? But yeah, I think I'm fairly correct in saying that. I know I read something very similar to that, and I've concentrated for the last sort of 3 or 4 hours since I've been researching and stuff, and on remembering Francois Bourgeois' name and not butchering the pronunciation as much as possible, that I then kind of let slip what I'd learnt about cows and their digestion, and and different things. But yeah, so as I say, but that's the reason why, as I say, silage clamps today, because their actual name for them are clamps, not pits. But why we call clamps pits is because originally they were they were pits in the ground, basically holes. If you didn't have a bank to hand, you just dug a massive hole in the ground and tipped all your grass in and then covered it, and then you sort of would dig it out, usually by hand and by fork. But yeah, so, and of course the if you like, the act of silaging comes from the ancient Egyptian word of to I've forgotten it. To ensile, and to ensile means to put grass-like matter into a pit and cover, and for it to ferment and rot, and to ferment down, and that's where the word silage comes from. It comes from the ancient Greek word of ensilo, and it is said that ensiloing or silaging grass was first done by the ancient Egyptians in 90 BC, I think it was, or 92 BC. So yeah, it's been around for quite a long time, and many people again think that it's a modern day thing, sort of from the 50s, maybe 60s, 70s onwards, but it isn't. As I say, it's been done before the birth of Christ, which, not getting into it, and because people have their beliefs and everything, but is where I kind of struggle, because BC is before the birth of Christ, but God invented man. So yeah, I don't get it, but as I say, it always confuses me, that one. But as I say, I'm not very what can I say, clued up on religion, the Bible, the birth of Christ, and all of that sort of stuff. It's a little bit beyond me, that one. So I'm not trying to offend or upset anyone, because I simply don't know nothing about it. But that's one thing I've always kind of thought is, well, hang on a minute. Anyway, we'll leave it there, because I get myself in trouble otherwise. I can hear the two ladies already starting to crunch their phone numbers, or my phone number, in their phones, and they haven't even got the video yet. So we will leave it there, like I say, because people are entitled to their thoughts and beliefs and everything, and I certainly wouldn't be telling otherwise. But yeah, so we'll get this cut, and then we'll get this turned over to hay. We're going to do the conventional bales in here, and I may use a new tractor. So I've struggled to find the tractors that were being used by Harry in the 1950s. So Harry bought a Alias Chalmers WD40, was it? I think it was, or WD60. I can't remember. I know loads of sort of British. I don't know. This product may be available in America. I don't know, but there's actually a in Britain we use a product called WD-40 so if you've got like a lock that's rusted, or a hinge that's rusted and won't move, or anything that's kind of rusted and doesn't, is seized up, anything that is seized up, basically, you spray WD-40 on it, you leave it for a little while, and then go back to it, and it's freed it up, and it all works, and it's fantastic, and you're able to kind of get things going again. But there was an Alias Chalmers WD-40, and as I say, I can't find it. Well, that's actually a lie. I have found one, but it is absolutely like riddled with errors, um, and it's I'm not prepared to have it in the game because I don't want to lose this save or corrupt this save in any way where I'm unable to sort of load it and play it or whatever. That's sort of a very rare occurrence. I think I've only ever had that twice. Um, and one of them was on the vintage oaks, and I was told not to cut the oaks down, and I did it anyway. So I got what I deserved that time. But I've not done it since, funnily enough. But yeah, so I'm not using it. But I found a tractor that was fairly in keeping with the era. And the dairy had over Harry, but obviously we're kind of sort of joining the two businesses together and sort of making one super business, just because, as I say, we're meant to be following the Hill family, and we're sort of spending all of our time on the dairy because it just takes up so much, time and effort and stuff to look after it and keep the cows fed and everything like that. So we've sort of joined those businesses together, as I say, which is a game sort of play thing, not a real life thing. That didn't happen, as I say, by 1954. Harry, or 1953, Harry had left the dairy and was, doing contracting and sort of running his own business, and had left the dairy behind, sort of thing. But um, the thing in the original kind of sort of when the idea for this series got sort of conceived, if you like, I realised that for many, many, many years, Harry's business wouldn't have been enough to sort of create a series on, because a lot of the work was repeated. A lot of the time, he didn't do he wasn't doing much. Like I say, with the depression that was, to come and everything like that, and I just sort of thought there isn't enough here to make a series. And then it was kind of like, as I say, I sort of sporadically it was referred to, the he worked on a dairy farm, and I thought, well, actually we could have the dairy farm as well and sort of mix between. But as I say, I've since taken the decision in the last sort of few weeks to merge the dairy and Harry's farm together, and that way we're able to sort of get a better variety of jobs. And not only that as well, but it's led on then to other things that didn't sort of necessarily happen in real life, but are going to happen in this series again, just to give us a bit of variety, just to give us a bit of gameplay and stuff like that. So that's sort of why I've taken the decision that I've done, because and I've said it before, because it is a game. I'm sort of stuck within the parameters of the game, and I'm stuck with what the game has to offer and what mods are available, and so therefore, as much as I wanted to follow it almost to the letter, I can't, because there's either the mods are not available, for it, or this, that, and one reason and another. So in the end, I've sort of kind of gone, well, okay, we'll sort of go away from basing it entirely on sort of fact and real life, and actually we'll get there or thereabouts. It does mean, however, that there won't be 1970s tractors turning up in 1950. The tractors that we have will be within the time period that the save is currently at, and as you can see, we're in 1954 at the moment. And the other thing as well, and I've mentioned it before, is that I sort of skip winters now. I am trying to sort of move through the years a little bit quicker, but at the same time, I don't want to lose the graft side of the episodes, because it is hard work doing these massive fields with this small equipment, and it is very time consuming, and I sort of don't want to lose that, because I'm eventually when we do get to the more modern day, is how much further farming has come, and how much progress, and the wider machines and the more horsepower tractors and the faster tractors and the the technology of tracks and their use within farming. I mean, tracks have always been really in farming since World War I, really. It wasn't that much of a leap to take all of these sort of, if you like, military vehicles that were on tracks and sort of, in essence, certainly after the Second World War, but after the First World War as well, that were now obsolete and made redundant because there was no use for them. And suddenly, sort of companies and people decided to, hang on a minute, we could put these into agriculture. They're beasts. They can literally drive through anything. They can pretty much pull, within reason, anything as well. So, and that's what happened. So they got sort of moved over into agriculture, and today, look at what they are now today. And they're widely used all over the world. Because of their advantages over wheel tractors. But obviously wheel tractors do still have a very important role to play in today's world. But certainly here in the UK, where compaction is the buzzword of farming, wheel tractors are now, certainly sort of small to up to middle-sized farms do still have the wheel tractors, but any farm beyond that that's got sort of ambitions to grow massively are all using tractors. As I say, the second farm that I worked on, even the first farm now actually, and that's sort of still a small to medium family-sized farm, but they now too have two Challengers. So when I was there, the last year that I worked there, they bought a Claas 55 crawler. Awesome tractor, absolutely awesome tractor. But literally could pull anything with it. It was fantastic. Really, really good tractor. And now they've got an MT 65, I think it is, and they've still got the Claas, and the Claas is still mint condition as it was when we bought it. Yeah, as I say, it's still mint condition. Hopefully this year, once I get my posh clever new phone, and I'm thinking about buying an electrical bike as well, because obviously I don't have a great deal of energy to be able to pedal a push bike, but electric bike where I can sort of let it do most of the work, but so I can sort of join in when the going's easy. But it'll help me to get out of the house a bit more, and again, not to sort of go into any depth or detail in it because I'm sure people are not interested, but this sort of winter past, I have been suffering quite badly with sort of my mental health and my depression. Again, it's sort of come back this winter quite bad, and so I've sort of been struggling, and one of the things I've kind of sort of decided is that maybe if I could get, I kind of want to walk, but the problem is that my heart is deteriorating. I am finding things like that harder, and I can't walk very far. And so I thought, well, actually, if I got an electric bike, at the very least, if I did want to pedal anywhere, I could just ride it around, and as I say, while I'm out, take my phone and stuff with me, and I'll be able to get footage of their Claas crawler, the challenge that they've got, and also as well, I think they've also got, or whether they've changed it actually, this winter for a John Deere one. I think they've got an 8400T. They tend to like the classics more than the modern. One of the reasons is they always say that the classic tractors are, the slightly older tractors are far easier to repair, and they can repair them themselves, whereas the modern day ones, a light comes up on the dash and you need someone in a shirt and a computer to fix it. So they tend to go for the older stuff. But again, the 8400T that was using their Lemkin plough to plough with, that was in pretty mint condition as well. So I'll try and get footage of them, as I say. But yeah, anyway, it's 30 minutes long, this video. This wasn't meant to be a chatty video, so I'm going to switch over to some time lapse, and we'll try and get this cut, and we'll also try and get it tedded, and we'll see whether Courseplay can manage the tedding in this field. If it can, we'll get it rowed as well. But I'm going to toddle off now, because as I say, we had a chatty video yesterday, and people are probably not going to want to sit and listen to me, chatting away for another 40 minutes, and we don't even get the job complete. So but if you do want to sort of kind of listening to James's rambles, put it in the comments, and I'll happily do chatty videos, and sort of we'll do a job in each video, and when you come back to the next episode, I'll have completed that job and we'll be on to the next one, but it'll be another chatty. I mean, if that's what you want and like, as I say, put it in the comments, and I'll do that. I don't do it because I sort of think people probably don't want to listen to me just chatting and randomly just chatting away, really. But anyway, bit of time lapse. Enjoy your music. I'll be back at the end. See you in a minute. back. Yes, so just a short little bit of time lapse there, just to kind of sort of get things started, I guess, in a way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end this episode here, because he's now going to be going up and down on his up and down bouts. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this episode here. The next episode, he'll be carrying on with the Tedding. This one will be carrying on with the rowing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to we'll get the new tractor, and we'll then bale as well. So there'll be 3 of us then working this field, and we'll be able to get on with this field. And then the next field, I'll either do it off camera, or if you sort of kind of put in the comments if you want to see me do the next field as well, then we can do the next field as well. But either way, as I say, if you just let me know. And again, as before, if no one comments, then I will just do it off camera, so that we're doing a different job again. But so thanks ever so much for watching. As I say, the beginning part of this video went on a little bit too long, but and again, let me know in the comments if you like listening to me chatting away. Then I can do more of it, or if you're not so keen, let me know, and I'll make sure that to keep it to a maximum of 1 a week. But thanks ever so much for watching. Really enjoyed having your company. Can't wait to see you in the next episode. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.